Every day, Melburnians face the grind of traffic, inching along crowded streets. But what if there's a hidden pathway, a way to escape the chaos? Could a ferry network be the answer, gliding us over water instead of getting stuck on land? Let's dive into this wave of possibility. A ferry network in Melbourne could transform the city's waterways into vital transport corridors. Ferries could operate along the Yarra River, connecting key destinations such as South Bank, where cafes line the riverbanks, and Docklands, a hub of shops and entertainment. The Maribyrnong River could provide access to suburbs like Footscray, while Port Phillip Bay could link passengers to popular spots like St Kilda and Williamstown, known for their beaches and historic charm. This ferry network would alleviate pressure on Melbourne's congested roads and offer scenic travel options for commuters and tourists. Riding a ferry would allow people to enjoy stunning views of the city skyline and lush riverbanks. Such a system would be more than just transportation. It would enhance the overall experience of navigating Melbourne, making travel more efficient and enjoyable. Sydney's ferry system serves as a successful model for urban transport, with over 30 routes connecting various parts of the city. These ferries play a crucial role in easing road congestion and providing an alternative transport option for both commuters and tourists. The scenic journeys across Sydney Harbour, with iconic views of the Opera House and Harbour Bridge, have made ferry rides a popular choice for many. Melburnians see the benefits of a similar system. Sydney's ferries demonstrate how effective water transport can be in addressing urban transport challenges. People in Melbourne want this option, envisioning a future where they can travel along the Yarra River or across the bay instead of being stuck in traffic. Melbourne faces significant transport issues, with congested roads being a daily frustration for commuters. In recent years, traffic congestion has worsened, making Melbourne one of the most congested cities in Australia. Roads are often choked with vehicles during peak hours, leading to longer travel times and increased frustration. Public transport is also struggling, with packed trams and trains unable to meet the demands of a growing population. Melbourne's urban sprawl has outpaced the capacity of the existing public transport network, leaving many residents without reliable options for getting around. According to a recent study, the average commuter spends over 70 hours a year stuck in traffic. With Melbourne's population expected to reach 5 million by 2050, the pressure on our transport system will only intensify. Ferries offer significant environmental benefits, particularly in reducing carbon emissions. By providing an alternative to cars and buses, ferries can help lessen the number of vehicles on the road, contributing to cleaner air and a more sustainable urban environment. Studies have shown that cities with robust ferry systems experience reduced traffic congestion and improved air quality. In addition, ferries can play a crucial role in creating greener cities by encouraging people to rely less on cars. The potential for less car dependency leads to fewer greenhouse gas emissions, which is essential in addressing climate change. Implementing a ferry network in Melbourne is not without its challenges. One of the primary obstacles is the varying depth of the rivers and bay, which can limit the size and frequency of ferry operations. Some areas of the Yarra and Maribyrnong rivers may not have enough depth to accommodate larger vessels, which are essential for efficient service. Narrow passages and sharp bends in the waterways present additional navigational difficulties. The design of docking facilities must also be considered, as constructing suitable terminals along busy waterways could be complex and costly. Moreover, funding remains a significant concern. The initial investment required to establish a ferry network could be substantial, and ongoing operational costs would need to be addressed. Establishing a ferry network in Melbourne comes with substantial financial hurdles. The costs of infrastructure, including docks, terminals, and the vessels themselves, can be staggering. Estimates suggest that developing a comprehensive ferry system could run into hundreds of millions of dollars. This includes not only the construction of dock areas, but also the maintenance and operational costs of the boats. Previous proposals for a ferry network in Melbourne have been floated over the years, with varying degrees of interest from the government. Feasibility studies have explored potential routes and ridership, but many of these initiatives have stalled due to budget constraints or lack of political will. Melbourne is on the brink of a population boom, projected to reach over 5 million by 2050. This rapid growth places immense pressure on the existing transport infrastructure, necessitating innovative solutions to manage increased demand. A ferry network could play a pivotal role in addressing this challenge, offering a reliable and efficient means of transport for an expanding population. Recent surveys indicate a growing public interest in ferry services, with many residents expressing support for alternatives to the congested roadways and crowded public transport. As urban dwellers seek more sustainable and enjoyable travel options, the enthusiasm for a ferry network is palpable. But the critical question remains: is public demand strong enough to turn this dream into reality? As the population continues to swell, the call for effective and attractive transport solutions will only grow louder, potentially propelling the ferry vision into actionable plans. The debate surrounding a ferry network in Melbourne brings together a range of voices, from transport experts and urban planners to environmentalists. Many experts advocate for the network, highlighting its potential to alleviate traffic congestion, enhance public transport options, and promote sustainable travel. They argue that a well-designed ferry system could integrate seamlessly with existing transport infrastructure, providing a viable alternative for commuters. However, not everyone is convinced. Some critics contend that the initiative would be too costly and question its necessity, arguing that investment should focus on improving current tram and train services instead. They express concerns over the financial burden on taxpayers and whether the projected benefits justify the expense. With such divided views, can this idea truly set sail? The challenge lies in bridging these perspectives and finding common ground to ensure that a ferry network becomes a feasible and desirable reality for Melbourne. Looking ahead, there's potential for pilot programs or experimental ferry routes that could serve as a testing ground for this ambitious vision. Local councils and transport authorities may consider starting with limited services along popular stretches of the Yarra or Port Phillip Bay, gathering data on ridership and operational feasibility. Could we see the first Melbourne ferry on the water in the coming years? The groundwork is being laid, and interest in this initiative is gaining momentum. As discussions continue and public support grows, it's crucial for Melburnians to express their opinions on this transport option. Would you ride a ferry to work, Melbourne? Let's make our voices heard. Engaging in community forums and providing feedback to local representatives can help push this idea closer to reality, paving the way for a more connected and sustainable future for our city.